What is up, my beautiful people? It is that time of year. Acceptances are rolling out, and most likely if you clicked on this video, you are interested in Albany Medical College and you want to know more about it. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving you guys my honest opinion about the school, while also giving you guys a school tour and giving you insights on what a day in the life of being an Albany Medical College student will be like. So if you're ready, let's get right into it. So the school is a little bit complicated. I'm gonna actually split up this tour into 3 separate buildings. This building, the ME building, also known as the classrooms, and then the main school building, and then at the very end, I'll show you guys the hospital. So right here, as you can see, right when you walk in through the back entrance, let's see if anyone's in here. No one's in here. This is the classroom. There's classrooms like this, I think like 3 or 4 of them up in this building. This is where we take our exams. This is where we do our personal identity formation week material. I'll link a video here for what that looks like at our school. But at Albany Medical College, our lectures are all online. And if you're like me, I was skeptical at first because I was like, all online? Like, I'd rather have the in-person aspect. Like, I learn better that way. I realized in med school though, no matter what school you go to, when you're prepping for step 1 or step 2, your medical board exams, most students actually use multiple resources, specifically third-party resources. And Albany Medical College has started paying for their students third-party resources such as Boards and Beyond, Sketchy, and stuff like that. And it's been a great help. So yeah, these lecture rooms are empty most of the time except for like orientation exams, stuff like that, like I mentioned before. So yeah, I honestly see that as a pro. We do have in-person stuff as well. For the in-person stuff, I'll show you guys the classrooms for that later. But we do like case studies, we do ethic courses, we do like in-person practice with standardized patients. Those are all still done in person, including of course the cadaver lab. But yeah, something I really hate about this room though, if I'm being honest, is the chairs, man. The chairs are so uncomfortable. As you can tell, these are swivel seats. So they swivel in and out like this. And the problem is if you are like me, I like to sit like this and I kind of like to lean back. And sometimes I'll like let myself drift and I just rotate out. So you have to keep your feet planted all the time and your back starts hurting. And I like to lean back like this. And then sometimes, look how far I can go back. Oh my. Anyway, you can go really far back. I didn't know I could go that far back. You can go really far back and my head will always hit the person behind me. But yeah. So next we're gonna take the elevator and we're gonna show you where you get your scrubs for a cadaver lab. So here we are on the 7th floor, also known as the Commons. Also has a great view-ish. Anyway, this is the place where you're gonna get your scrubs, but you're also here for your financial aid department, your advisors and stuff like that. A lot of them are gonna be here. And there's this phone, and in order to get through here, you pick it up and you say, hey, I'm here for this reason, and then they let you in. So that's where that is. On the same floor here, we have your scrubs. This here is the scrub machine. This is where you'll get your scrubs. This is where you deposit your scrubs. So you're gonna swipe in here, get your scrubs. Every student gets 2 scrubs. And then here is where you deposit it. Do not take your scrubs home. The dirty scrubs. You do not wanna be taking cadaver lab scrubs home, all right? Always deposit here. Sometimes these scrub machines are either broken or they're full or empty, depending on what you need. And there is a secret scrub machine near Dunkin. I'll show you guys that later. It's a little inside tip. So yeah. We are now currently heading down to the 5th floor in the same building. This is where you actually can, I thought the door was locked. This is actually where you will be able to bridge from this building over to the cadaver labs. So let's go. Alright, so here we are in the cadaver labs. I can't, of course, film inside the cadaver lab because that would be unethical and wrong, but this is the passage that most students take to get their scrubs, deposit their scrubs from the cadaver lab here. As you can see, we have these cubbies systems here where you put your bags here, you go into the cadaver lab, and then there's also these locker rooms that we use to change and stuff like that as well. Something really great about Albany is that we're a very old medical college, right? So we actually have a lot of alumni, but we also have a lot of donations for the cadaver. So for us, we get 3 students per cadaver, and per cadaver there are 4 groups of 3. And so depending on your rotation within that week, you'll do a certain part of the dissection, and then once all the different groups do their dissections, everyone comes into the cadaver lab and we teach each other, and it's called peer teaching. Speaking of cadaver labs, this is where we do our wet lab stuff. But what about dry lab, such as bones or ultrasound, stuff like that? It's actually in the same building. You actually go a couple floors down, and this is called the J labs. Let's see if anyone's in here. No one's in here. This is the J labs. This is where we do some of our bones, histology, ultrasound, stuff like that. This is where we do something called TBLs. Essentially, doctors in the field come in and they teach us on case studies and such, and then we do that stuff here as well. Now, in the same building, if you go all the way down to the first floor, that's where students go to the student lounge. So maybe after a day of studying and anatomy, you're tired as hell, you're gonna go to the student lounge. So let me take you guys there. There's free coffee here for students that are made by students. We also got a vending machine here, class-wide refrigerator and freezer. People will put their food and stuff in here in the meantime. You got ice and water dispenser, microwaves, the basic necessities. And yeah, people come here to study. And if you've watched some of my vlogs, I come here to play ping pong to de-stress while I'm studying. So this is our student lounge. On the way out, actually, I forgot to mention, there are actually these locker rooms that people can use. So I've seen some people use it for during cadaver lab and stuff. They'll put their stuff in here instead. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take you guys to the library. Let's say after a long day of work, de-stress a little bit, grind never stops, right? So we're gonna go to the library. We have now officially entered the main building of the school. This is where our classrooms, smaller classrooms are, the library is, and also where our PSCCC is. That is also known as our standardized patient thing as well. So let's go to the library first. Hello. All right. Here we are in the library. There's some people studying today, some will be a little quiet. But essentially, our library, as you can see, the first floor is an open floor. This is usually the loud floor where people kind of communicate and talk. A little bit more open. We've got some computers and couches and stuff like that. We also have these cubicles that a lot of people like to study at. Each one has a charger at your feet, and they also have a light as well. As you can also tell right here, we have this shelf right here, so if anyone wants to stand and study like this, people will put their laptop here to stand and study as well. Let me turn this off. Turn off. There you go. All right, I'm gonna take you to the upper floors now. On weekends, you have to present your card to access the library. There you go. Third floor. As you can tell, the second, third, and fourth floor, they all kind of look similar, but they're the quiet floors, so I can't really speak in there. But each of these floors also have separate study rooms. Study rooms for students that book out as well. We're now on the 5th floor. This floor is a little bit different. All right. as you can tell, this is the 5th floor. And on the 5th floor, it's just study rooms like these, all up in this floor, and they also have some computers up here as well. All right, where should I take you guys next? Next, I'll take you to what we call mini choices. That's where we have fundraisers, stuff like that, and they'll also have like baked goods and coffees, and sometimes provided by or different organizations. And then I'll take you guys to the PSCCC. And that's where we have standardized patient training, and we have that usually around once a week, once or twice a week, depending on what we're doing. So I'll take you guys there next. While we were here at Mini Choices, I just remembered a funny / traumatizing story back in my first couple of weeks of medical school. So during the cadaver labs, I went with my friend late at night to the labs. Probably a bad idea. Already think about it, right? You're alone in the cadaver lab late at night. And I was like, oh, I want to get some studying done. And I had not realized that the professors had already done some of the dissection in advance to show us, and I came in and I was traumatized. Like, I had no idea what I was gonna miss. I went in thinking, oh, like, I'll just go in there and like study some simple stuff. So fair warning to any new incoming first years, do not go to the cadaver labs late at night in your first couple weeks of medical school. You just never know what's gonna be there. So fair warning, fair warning. So here we are at the PSCCC. I can't go in right now because it's long. Actually, let me try. Yep, my card was rejected. So essentially, the PSCCC is known as our, actually, I don't know what it stands for, the Patient Safety and Clinical Competency Center. This is where we do our standardized patient training, and we also have some really cool like tech back there. All the sessions, it kind of reminds me of like Monsters Inc. If you guys have seen the Monsters University movie, where you get like the little, pamphlet, you read the article, you type in your thing, you go in, you do your thing, come back out, and then you get graded. It's kind of like that. We also do some like mannequin stuff. The mannequins here are way more high tech. So I think the thing I really thought was really cool is they'll have a mannequin, and we take our stethoscopes and we can like listen to different heart and lung sounds on the mannequin if you program it right. So this is where we learn all of the physical and clinical aspects of our training. Speaking on clinical aspects, our school also has something called ILC. And ILC is our long-term clerkship. So in our first year, you guys get to start shadowing a doctor at a clinical setting, and by the end of the year, you'll be the one doing the patient history, the patient questioning, the diagnostics, and stuff like that. So they kind of ease you and train you into that from the get-go, and it's honestly been great. I've learned so much from just doing that. And at least my preceptor, he's been kind of like tying in what I'm learning into what I get to see. So in the beginning, we learned about cardio and pulmonary and renal, and I would kind of ask questions based on what I knew. But now that I finished endocrine, I was asking him questions on endocrine for endocrine patients, and I was also just getting so much out of that. So like, it kind of matches up with our curriculum as well, because we're just able to see it in real time. So I think it's just great like that, yeah. Now we're heading over to the hospital. So we were just in the main classroom building. Now we're in the main school building. And if we keep going, we're gonna get to the hospital. So the good thing about the hospital is just one straight line. So you just go from point A to point B by just going straight down the hallway. So as I'm going down the hallway, I'll show you guys where our cafeteria is. I'll also show you the Dunkin Donuts and Subway we have, and then the secret scrub machine location as well. I will say, for a hospital cafeteria, the hospital cafeteria food here is pretty good. Students also get discounted food, so a meal will cost anywhere between like $6 to $10, I'd say, roughly. But we got your standard, sushi, pizza, burgers, stuff like that. But they also have hot foods, and they'll also have a nearby restaurant that comes in and switches out one of the stations. So today I think it was some like Indian restaurant. So yeah, it's pretty good. As you can see, there was also the dining area. It's shared by patients, doctors, nurses, visitors. And what I'll do is I'll play jazz with Sam for the patients there as well. So it's a good time. All right, we have reached the end of the hospital, and we are going upstairs one floor to the second floor. And this is where you'll find your gift shop, Dunkin, and the secret scar machine. So right next to the Dunkin', there's gonna be this little crevice right here. And our badges have access to this room. And this is where the secret scrum machines are, right here. You're welcome.
Oh, you just get water? Yeah. Alright, I'll let you slide that down.
We got a Panera that's really close by, and I believe Starbucks is right over there. And then of course you got CVS that's right there as well. Right there. So we are currently on the Sky Bridge right now. Albany is cold, and luckily the garages that students use is also connected directly with the hospital as well. But what else is nice is it's actually connected with the gym as well, right next to the garage. Okay, so I know there's a way to get to the gym, but the gym is on the 8th floor. Alright, so my friend David, he has badge access. I apparently didn't have badge access, so he came all the way so that he could help me show the gym for you guys. Would you like to say a word? Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
Know it.
I don't actually know.
This is the warm-up area. You get like the mats. You can stretch. They also have back rollers, which is nice, and stretchers there. So you have like you can warm up here. They also have a separate warm-up area over here. There are weights. Whatever these jumpy things are that I never use. 2 barbells if you want to do like deadlifts. Too many cardio machines.
Apparently the view is really nice here, at sunset. Which one? This one?
Yeah, look at this one.
Wow, you can see the... Wow, that's the Capitol building. No, it's not. That's not the Capitol building.
You can see the helicopter land too on this view.
Oh shoot, it's so blurry. Those are government buildings over there. That's usually... Where do you see the what? Oh, the helicopter pad.
Yeah, usually when I'm here, you can see it land.
Oh, that's the helicopter landing.
Lands like a few times a day, so if you're here at the right time. 2 racks of similar size plates, and then we have one of the heavy ones.
String on your elbow, the string is like...
They have fitness classes that you can schedule for, like a few times a week, where the coach is here. You can sign up, like right here, and then you can do some like cardio or like weightlifting, strengthening. Yeah, they're really good. Yeah.
All right, we are outside the hospital now, and we're gonna be walking in through the front entrance of the hospital. God, it is so cold and rainy right now.
You can go to the hospital instead of the Neil helmet. It's much easier if you come in from this way.
we're back. What questions you should ask when applying to medical school? Because I didn't know, like for example, like NBME questions and stuff like that. I didn't know to ask for that
board
stuff.
style.
Yeah. So like for example, like a question you should ask your medical school is what type of questions they use for your exams. AMC uses NBME style, which means they're retired previous step questions. Some schools will have in-house made questions, and a lot of students state that it doesn't prepare them well for step 1 or step 2. So that's a question I would ask. Another thing I would ask is like curriculum.
Yeah, I would say curriculum.
Curriculum for sure. So our curriculum here, we have 3 months of hazing, and then
If that's what you call it.
it is straight up hazing. But we have 1.5 years of preclinical study for step. We get 2 months dedicated to preparing for step 2, and then we get so we get an extra half year for clinicals, and then you take step 2, and then your 4th year is your electives. I know like some schools like in the West Coast, they'll do like, or even in the East Coast, some like I think like Ivy League schools or stuff like that, they'll do 1 year of preclinical, 2nd year is clinical, and then you take step 1 and step 2 at the exact same time, and then you do your like research or something like that. I know another school they'll do.
Oh yeah, the research year that's built in.
Yeah. They'll have like a built-in research year. For us here, we have a summer break during your 1st year only, and that's our dedicated research time for students as well.
Well, the curriculum thing too, the way it's structured, like if it's online only versus in person.
Oh yeah,
Because a lot of
yeah,
people
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know that
you're right,
our
you're
classes here are all
All
online. Like our
Yeah.
in-person ones are the clinical stuff,
Yeah.
but to learn the content, it's all online, which works great for some people, but other people who need the in-person component, like
Like even if we had in person, I think we would be learning using third parties.
oh, absolutely. But some people like need the in-person.
I personally think we have enough in person.
I do too.
Yeah,
the
I don't
less in
want
person,
more.
the better.
Yeah,
but
I don't want more in person. So if you really need that in person like lecture style, I guess. Yeah, we don't have that.
like we
Wow.
test every other week.
Isn't that
schools.
normal?
Mm-mm.
Really?
The other schools that I was looking at, they had 1 per month.
Dang.
Yeah. And some schools had like the PBL. Remember, I don't know if you look like problem-based learning, where instead of having traditional lectures, you don't have any of that. You only go in 3 times a week for 4 hours or something, and you go through cases as a group, and that's how you learn for step 1. There's no lectures.
That's crazy. I did not
Yeah,
know
a
that.
lot of schools do that.
What the?
Yeah, so you can choose to have traditional or problem-based learning.
Cadavers. I didn't realize not all
yeah.
schools get cadavers. Albany has just a large amount of cadavers that are donated every year, to the point where other schools will actually ask us for cadavers. So if the cadaver dissection is really important to you, make sure your school has that.
Yeah, a few of the schools that I applied to had virtual
Cadaver.
anatomy. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
virtual
there was
anatomy.
no
Yeah,
dissection.
there was no dissection.
Yeah.
I agree. I think there was a couple schools I applied to that were like that too. Oh, I guess research opportunity wise, there's a lot of research here.
Yeah.
Would you say, right?
Yeah,
I feel
there
like
are.
it's pretty simple to get research here.
A lot of people know someone who knows someone, and then when you meet like a second year,
Yeah.
they refer you, and then you just reach out to the
Yeah.
doctor, and then they take you.
And also a lot of 4th years who are graduating or 3rd years, they're always looking for 1st years to help
Yeah,
pick
they
up
send
the
the
slack.
emails out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty they pretty much give it out to you. It's on an Excel sheet and they just show you like, oh, these are all the research opportunities, just email whoever.
Even if you didn't look at all for research your first year, I would imagine you get 10 emails
About
like
research.
offering you
You
to
to
take
do
up
research,
a research.
yeah.
Yeah. So even if you weren't looking, you don't have to do anything, and you'll still have the opportunity to get it.
Yeah. I don't know what else.
All right.
All right, well, that concludes our tour of Albany Medical College. Hope you guys got some insights and just like what it's like to be here at our school. And yeah, thank you guys for sticking to the end of this video. I know this was a little bit different, so if you stuck to the end, I really do appreciate you guys who are already following. All love. If you have any comments, any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments down below, or go follow my Instagram, and you can also DM me. I'll be straight up honest with you on there. And yeah, see you guys next time. Peace. All right, so we got some questions here today. It says perfect timing for a vlog. I just finished exam week 2 and our spring break starts this week, the 20th. Happy spring break. How do you usually spend your downtime after exam stress and what are your ways to recharge? Thinking of filming a vlog during spring break. So let me answer that last question. I have promised myself that during my times when I need to relax, I want to fully relax. So I won't be really filming my time on spring break or summer break or anything like that, just so I can fully kind of recharge. But that kind of ties into your first part of the question, like, what do I do to recharge? So during my spring break, I actually had a friend come over and we went to New York City and we got to, go to Grand Central Station, which is the Grand Central Station, and we also went to the Central Zoo, something like that. It's essentially what the Madagascar movie is based off of. And seeing those in real life, it was really fun. And we made so many jokes about it. And it was a great time. So that's one way I like to spend my time. Another thing I like to do is make music or just sing in my bedroom, playing the guitar, stuff like that. I love movies. I love watching old movies over and over and over again instead of watching new movies. I really like the nostalgia of it. So like old Disney movies, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, Fantastic Mr. Fox. Like these are my like go-to like comfort movies that I like to watch. Some other things I like to do, I love playing video games. So I like playing Mario Kart on my Wii. I still have the Wii. I know I'm old. No. I still have my Wii and I brought it with me because I love playing Mario Kart, and I love playing Minecraft and stuff like that still. So that's what I like to do in my free time. The next question we have here. Hello, sir. I am a high school girl and I'm 17 years old. I love the medical profession because I really like to help patients and people in the field of treatment to leave a beautiful memory of my image in people's minds. I would be happy to answer my questions and guide me. My questions. What is your goal in being a doctor? And how can I study as highly as you, even if I was very tired or bored? And my last question, if you would want to give one piece of advice, what would it be? What would you give me, a 17-year-old who loves medicine, for this difficult path? Yeah, so kind of to sum it all up, like what is your goal in being a doctor? For me, being a doctor is like being a superhero because especially the profession I want to choose is family medicine. Family medicine is essentially a doctor who knows a bunch of different fields, but not super in depth. So they know a lot of stuff. And to me, if I can show up to any scene, any situation, and there's a health problem and I can provide some sort of help to a certain degree, that's like a superpower to me. Like that's insane. Like imagine just pulling up and being like, yo, I know, boom, 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 your heart, your lungs, your temperature, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, this is what it is. This is what we got to do. Let me help this person. Like the fact that you can do that is like a superhero. It's like a superpower. So that's a huge thing for me. Like I want to be able to help people anywhere, whenever, however, whenever, like wherever I'm needed. And that's why I want to become a doctor. And how can I study as highly as you, even if I'm very tired or bored? Yeah, like consistency is hard. Like even like creating YouTube videos like in med school has been really difficult for me because the consistency aspect of it and constantly like having to do, because the reality is we have our highs and lows, right? Like you guys don't see everything that's going on in my life, but sometimes I'm going to be having a good day. Sometimes I'm going to be having a crap day. And I realized that doing YouTube has allowed me to be more vulnerable about that. And it's been great. And that's the same thing for studying, like you're going to have times where you really enjoy what you're doing. And sometimes you're going to be like, this is the last thing I want to be doing. And honestly, consistency is all about work ethic. Like I have come from a pretty poor, difficult background. And I think it's kind of trained me and developed me in a way where my work ethic is really good because I've had to work really hard to get to where I am now. Like I had no connections. I had no background in medicine. Like I had no money. And in order to get to a position as difficult as medical school, it was very hard. And I don't want to downplay that. It's just reality is very difficult, So I would advise try to build your work ethic and your consistency. You can start small. It doesn't even have to be academic. Like, for example, my friend, he's been trying to, exercise more. And I told him, he's like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do all this. I'm like, bro, before you even do that, can you even consistently do 10 push-ups every single day for a month straight? And I asked him if he could do it. And I kept bugging him. I was like, you can't do it. You can't do it. You know? And he eventually got to a point where he was able to do it. But when you first start out, setting goals small like that, I think is really good in keeping your consistency, because try it for yourselves. Like, you know, people say like New Year's resolution. And the reason why most of those don't work out is you don't have work ethic yet. You don't have the consistency for it yet. So you can start small with, let's say, like exercising, like do 10 push-ups every single day and see how long, and not, oh, let's see how long I can go for. Set a deadline, you know, like a month. Something I like to do is I love to use my calendar. That way I am setting a goal for myself in my education and I have to keep up with it, instead of kind of like an unknowing, I'll get there when I get there. Having a set deadline has really helped me push in times when I really don't want to study. It's like, oh, like I have to do this today. I said I was going to do it, and that will get me to the next step for the next day. So let's get this done. So yeah, maybe using a calendar might help as well to organize your stuff. And then the last question was just one big piece of advice for someone who loves medicine. Honestly, I have a very interesting piece of advice. My advice would actually be, if you're 17, don't just think about medicine. I know that's kind of like the opposite of what you're saying, because like you're really interested in medicine and all that stuff. My biggest advice would actually be explore stuff outside of medicine. You know, like when you're 17, something that I thought of is like you kind of feel like you have to know what you're doing with your life. And I feel like that's how I felt even in undergrad. Like everyone seems like they know what they're doing. But the reality is even as you grow up, a lot of adults will change what they're interested in or change what they're doing. And I think learning how to be interested in many different things and learning different aspects of things may bring you back to medicine even stronger, because it kind of tests to see, oh, is medicine really for me? And it can also see like what other things you're interested in. So my advice actually, if you really love medicine and it's a difficult path and you want to go down that path, my advice would actually be to look into things outside of medicine to build your personality, build your character, build your interests. And then it will inevitably come back to help you in the path of medicine if that's what you choose to do, is what I've learned. Yeah. Well, that was it for the questions. Thank you guys for asking those questions. Once again, you can put any comments down below for me to react to. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.